everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to another week of Travel Talk. As always, my name is Allie. I am your Women's Travel Club show host, as well as travel advisor and marketing coordinator. And today I have an in-person guest, which is a little new and refreshing for our Travel Talk. So I'm delighted to be joined here by Milka.
Hello.
Milka works under the Travel Cafe experience. She is situated at our office here on Highway 20 in Fonthill. And we're going to get into all things Milka today. We're going to talk about who is Milka Santoro. Very elusive question.
It is.
But yeah, do you want to say hello to the people, Milka?
Yes, hello. Thank you all for coming on today and joining us.
We've got lots of fun little tidbits to get into, who you are, what you do, what your role is, and some fun and exciting itineraries that you have shared with me. So we're going to do this interview style. We're going to just have a conversation today, talk back and forth, casual, fun, and get to know you. So just to start things off, if you want to give us a little bit of an introduction on yourself, how long have you been in Fonthill? Where are you from? That kind of stuff.
So I'm born and raised in Toronto and moved down here in 95. And I've always worked actually in Fonthill. I don't live in Fonthill, but I've always lived around Fonthill. And
is it? Yeah. You have a daughter, don't you, as well?
I have a daughter. She's 32 and lives out of Niagara.
Oh, nice.
But I have always worked in Fonthill as a massage therapist.
That's pre-travel Milka.
Pre-travel
Milka. So you were in it as a massage therapist for the majority of your life, and then kind of transition, switch gears a few years back. What was the prompt that kind of made you want to change paths?
Well, I always thought I wanted to sort of go into travel, but more as a retirement thing.
Okay.
And I was retiring earlier than retirement age, I guess, from massage. So I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to start with my Tico, and kind of everything just snowballed and evolved. And here I am, and I'm loving it.
Here you are. Well, I'm loving having you here. I'm, a baby travel industry advisor, so I'm. It's very nice to have your energy in the office as well. So I can't stop singing her praises. But yeah. So cruising specifically, though, because that's your niche. You specialize in cruises and whatnot. So out of all the modes of travel where you could have specialized, why cruising? You've got your little cruise top. Was that it?
This started it all.
This was the start. No, but what was that catalyst?
Yeah, so my husband and I have cruised quite extensively over the years, and from the first time we went on a cruise, it was a short 4-day cruise, and we could not get enough. It was like, this is it. We love the idea of unpacking once and allowing this kind of hotel to take you to all these different countries and all these different sites. And so ever since it's been a thing, and we love it.
Your thing.
It's been my thing.
Her thing. I have to say, I do love cruises. Before I, got into working in the travel industry and whatnot, I would always recommend cruising is one of the best ways to travel, in my opinion. I think like the boats themselves, like you said, are hotels on water. They're almost like cities on water.
They
pretty much are cities on water. And I think if you're trying to see as many places as possible, but also have some amazing experiences, cruising seems to be the way to go.
It does.
For Milka. Not for everybody.
No, it's not for everybody.
It's not, but that's why you don't just focus on cruises. You can, take on a land tour or other kinds of travel modes, per se.
All inclusives. I try to listen to what people tell me, what they want to do. And so sometimes they think they might want to cruise, but maybe I'm hearing something else,
Mhm.
and I'll guide them to what I think will be memorable for them.
Yeah, because everybody's different. And like you said, they could come to you, say, I want a cruise. But if you're doing active listening, like a good travel advisor does,
Yes.
you exactly, you can help gear them towards, what you believe to be the best trip for
For
them.
sure.
So in terms of your role here at the Travel Cafe Experience, because we've got the cafe upstairs, we've got Women's Travel Club here, and we have Milka.
Yes.
And we have Milka. So when do clients or members gear towards you as opposed to the Women's Travel Club?
So anybody basically that's not a group of women or solo women, if you're traveling with a spouse or a family or a multi-generational family, that's something that then I would take on.
And also, because you do groups, but if somebody comes to you as a solo traveler, do you have itineraries that they fit into, or do you more focus on just the private groups?
Well, usually I would actually, if it's a solo woman, I would gear her towards obviously the Women's Travel Club. But I have worked with a few women who were traveling together.
Interesting. Awesome. So to get more into, the travel side of things and your experiences, what, if you can think, because this is such a loaded question, what are some of your favorite destinations that you've been to?
So, the first one would be South America. So Chile and Argentina. We did a beautiful 2-week cruise that went all the way down around the bottom of the world, around Cape Horn. And the only regret I would have on that tour is not going into Antarctica.
Really? Well, it's right there.
I know.
Right?
We should have.
Yeah. See, but she lives, she learns, and she advises.
Yes, always go.
That's the pathway. Oh,
Yes.
Naomi, by the way, has said hello to everybody. Hi, Naomi.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. And we've also got a hug from Owen. Thanks, Owen. You are a sweetheart. But anyways, getting on track. So yeah, Antarctica would have, kind of hit that mark. But
Definitely.
now that you haven't gone, you have something to look forward to.
Yes,
So
but it was an incredible experience.
you said it was 2 weeks?
2 weeks. But we were gone for 3 because it starts and stops in 2 different countries.
Okay.
And I always advise take a couple days pre and post cruise, especially if it's starting and stopping in 2 different countries, so that you can experience that city or wherever you are.
And especially in places like South America, I only know because I'm going, well, not only, but I know because I'm going to Peru in September, and to, acclimatize yourself to those areas as well can be super beneficial doing your pre and post nights. So that's the best thing I think about travel, working in travel, is that the only way to learn is to go. So anyways, but South America would be kind of your number one go-to.
It was incredible.
Have you ever done Europe?
Yes.
Cruising or land?
Cruising.
What was your Europe tour?
That itinerary started in England, Southampton, went to Belgium, Germany, France, Norway. It's
a lot of countries. How long was this one?
I think it was only a week.
Only a week in that many countries.
Yeah.
I know this, I didn't prep you for this one, but what's your recommendation on, timeline of cruises versus how many destinations? Do you think that, if you're on a week-long cruise?
It depends on the person going on the cruise. So if they're very active, and I usually personally, I like a couple days at sea because I don't have a lot of downtime. So that forces me to, even though there's so much to do on a cruise, it kind of just gives you, you're just a little more relaxed on those days.
Yeah, definitely important. I think cruising, especially like relaxation, is a big draw to it because, like we said, the boat itself can be a destination on its own.
Yes.
So it's really, I think, part of that whole cruising culture to ensure that, you have those kind of moments to yourself on the boat where you can take in everything that's going on around you, because it's a lot. It can be overwhelming, activities going on
constant
throughout the ship, on land excursions to be had.
Yeah.
So that's, why we have cruise specialists like Milka to properly advise us on how to enjoy a cruise the right way.
Yes.
So, which I'm sure there is a right way.
Well,
Kind of.
and it kind of.
Of.
Depends on who's going on the cruise.
It's all kind of client specific, I'd say.
It really is. And what cruise line would best suit that client? Because there's
Right.
some cruises that are very busy, very
Mhm.
like lots of activities, lots of shows. And then there's others that are a lot more quieter. So
Quieter. And speaking of cruise lines, now clearly you are experienced in your cruising adventures, but are there any cruise lines that you haven't done yet that you're interested in or kind of want to do next?
there's a lot.
Yeah, I'd assume.
Actually, there's an actual specific ship, Celebrity Ascent, I have not done yet.
Interesting.
And we do have something coming up on that one.
Oh, and we have Naomi actually asking what cruise lines you recommend for women solo travelers. Do you think that one might be in line with Naomi's question, or?
Well, I guess it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking bigger mainstream, yes. It's a premium ship, but it really depends on what the person would be looking for. So it's kind of hard to answer.
Right.
But there are definitely cruise lines that we would recommend, depending on what
they're
Naomi's looking for.
It depends, because Celebrity, I assume, with being a more bigger mainstream cruise line, has lots of passengers. Like it would be
Yes.
something completely different from, say, a barge cruise.
Yes.
That,
Oh,
the Women's
100%.
Travel Club is in Provence right now
Yes.
doing our private barge cruise. That's going to
That's
be a completely different experience from the Celebrity cruise
Yes.
that you have.
Yeah.
Now,
But
where
we could definitely, if she contacted me, I could
Mhm.
definitely recommend something.
yes, and Carnival cruise, because you were saying that you've never done Carnival before,
No,
or Celebrity,
no,
sorry,
Celebrity.
pardon me, Celebrity cruise you've never done before. Now this, which ship is it that you were talking about earlier?
The Ascent.
The Ascent. Is that a new ship or?
It is. It's their newest ship, and it's incredible. It's very.
I love when Milka gets excited.
It is. It's very adult orientated, but kids can go on it,
Right.
and they do have kids clubs and stuff.
Okay.
It's just the stuff that's on there is not really geared to children.
It's mature.
So it is. It's a little more mature. They have mixologists for those who like to have a bevy. They have this really cool lounge that is on the outside of the ship.
Oh.
And it moves up and down. It's
Oh.
called the Magic Carpet.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yes, very innovative.
I'm kind of, now, I could be wrong, but I did a Celebrity cruise back in 2019, maybe. And I think there was something of a magic carpet. Now, it wasn't on the outside. It was on the inside of the ship, and it only went up and down on the inside.
I know what you're talking
Of
about.
course she
Yes.
does. Of course you do. But that's kind of the same idea.
Yes, except now they put it literally on the outside of the ship.
Oh, like not like on the like the out.
Like the edge.
Okay,
on the
that's
outer
scary.
edge.
Any of you out there who have a little adventure and adrenaline in you and
Yes.
want to have a nice scenic dinner? There's your
Yes.
that's your go-to apparently. But that's on the Celebrities. So
Yes.
and I know you had said to me before we had joined the Travel Talk today that you had also never done the Ammo Waterways.
No.
So you-
a river cruise.
A river cruise. Now
And they have actually a newer ship. It's called Emma Magna, and it is double the width of a regular river cruise.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to think, well, wouldn't it be too wide for the
And-
river?
It has a pickleball court.
A pickleball court?
Yes.
That's the seller. That's the seller right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That-
It's the pickleball
You know what?
court.
It is actually.
Forget about the destination. Forget about the accommodation. You got a good game of pickleball coming your way.
But speaking of destination,
Yes.
that is something that people should think about when
Mhm.
choosing a cruise.
Oh, it's not all about the cruise line.
No, not always.
Interesting.
I like to go with the destination first.
Destination first,
And
cruise
that-
line later.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I think because that's where your focus is more,
Mhm.
and there are obviously, you want to travel to that place.
Mhm.
It's already in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a bucket list travel,
Mhm.
and that's something that you're constantly thinking about. So when you go there, it's more about getting there and seeing that than
Mhm.
being on the ships. Like when we did South America, it was totally about South America. The
Mhm.
cruise line we chose afterwards, and it was a dated ship that we were on only because where we were going, there's glaciers, there's
Oh,
different, there's, you're
Obstructions
going
and
from,
stuff.
heat to cold
Yeah.
to heat. And
Has to
Yeah.
be designed pretty specifically, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah. So, have you ever encountered maybe a member or even someone in your personal life who's all about the cruise line itself, or do you find in the majority of your experience it's mostly about the destination?
I would say mostly about the destination, but
Mhm.
I have had some people where it is about the cruise line. Either
Mhm.
they're could be loyalty members.
I was going to say my grandparents are Royal Caribbean members and they, love the Royal Caribbean line.
Yes.
So when they're planning, that's kind of what they're looking for is the Royal Caribbean destinations, right?
Yeah.
So have you done Royal Caribbean before?
I have, yes.
How did
We
you
really
find
liked-
that?
We liked Royal.
I've heard some
It's-
really good reviews.
Yeah, very great for families, great for people, multi-generational.
Mhm.
They really have something for everyone, and I find their like games and activities during the day,
Mhm.
they have the most
A lot.
extensive. Yeah.
Well, I think it was Royal Caribbean. I went on I did a family cruise. It was both my grandparents, my aunt, uncle, multi-generational. And so, the oldest member of our group was, 60 something and the youngest was like 12. So,
Yeah.
and we all had an amazing time. And
Yeah.
the islands are great, but what the focus was on that was the ship itself. And I find that you say, well, mostly it's about the destination, but there can be those, instances where the ship is the highlight.
And especially Royal, which is a great example. They now, like, their ship's 10,000 passengers. I mean,
That's crazy.
it's a city.
That is a city on water.
So if somebody wants to go on that, it's generally for the ship.
It's for the ship.
Yeah.
Especially with Royal Caribbean, they're known for having those big ships. Like when I was on it, I think it was the Oasis, and
Which
that
was big at the time.
which was huge at the time, but now
No.
it's not even close. So
No.
I'm sure like you have to take in a multitude of factors when booking your clients on certain ships, because even little things like social anxiety can come into play.
Yeah.
If somebody gets nervous in crowds, I assume that's something you kind of need to know, or you're not going to send them on the Oasis.
No.
So getting into that, topic of how to prepare for a trip, a cruise specifically, do you have any, recommendations or something you like to tell your clients, this is...
Yeah, like I like to ask them, are they queasy on ships?
Mhm.
Have they ever experienced that? Because there are certain areas of the ship we can position someone,
Right.
obviously if it's available.
Great.
But yeah, so there are things that I like to ask them to just kind of see and to make it more comfortable for them.
Do you find that the larger ships are better for queasiness or worse?
Better. Yeah, it's kind of like a big plane. The bigger the plane, the less turbulence that you actually feel.
Yeah.
It's more like little bumps in the road.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes to you and says, I'm really adamant, maybe the ship's like the Edge, which Celebrity, it's a bit smaller compared to the Oasis, and they say, well, I really, really want to do this ship, but I do get seasick. how would you advise them? Would you,
Well, I would just be honest and explain,
Mhm.
that what they'll feel on one versus maybe the other. And it depends on how new the ship is. A newer
Mhm.
ship is the stabilizers are going to be more newer,
Right.
better technology. So
I see. Makes
Yeah.
sense. It makes,
Yeah.
and then obviously we always recommend if you do have any, and this goes for Women's Travel Club as well, if you have any health concerns,
Oh, yes.
number one thing is you go to your doctor and your healthcare professional, because
yes.
as much as experience that we have, everybody is different, and we also don't know 100% what we're talking about. So we are not.
And we don't know how you're going to feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can't, predict that. So,
No.
if you're ever, concerned about your health or safety on any tour or trip, it's always best to go to your healthcare professional for those
Right.
advices.
Yes.
But anyways, moving on. So why use Milka? Why should we come to you and, why, sorry, why choose to work with a travel agent over going on the cruise website and just booking?
Yeah. So, well, for one thing, using an agent takes you away from, if you don't use an agent, I should say,
Mhm.
it would take you away from your vacation.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing I
Mhm.
would probably tell somebody when you're, out thinking, oh my gosh, I have to call the airline or
Mhm. My luggage is lost.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
I don't know what to do. And that's taking away from your time
To enjoy.
on your vacation. So if you come to an agent, we handle that. So
It's a true vacation with an agent.
Yes, you don't have to worry about it. We'll take care of it. We will, we're the ones who are calling the airline on
Yeah.
hold for hours while you're, walking through Venice
Hanging
and
out, drinking
sitting at a
coffee,
cafe, yes,
yeah,
having some
people
gelato.
watching, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more about the experience you're on when you use an agent as opposed to, the planning process.
For sure.
Because that can be, and especially with cruises.
Yes.
Because they're so meticulous in terms of timing, and people get left behind, and there can be some.
We have seen that.
Have we?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Well, maybe we won't expose somebody's story.
No.
But when those situations do arise, and it's important, I think, not necessary, but important to have a travel agent on your side, because I don't, we're all experiencing this cruise, this destination, this vacation for the first time. To have somebody with more experience in my back pocket, it's never a bad thing.
No.
So I always like to say, why not use an agent? Why not use the Women's Travel Club and have somebody allow you to let loose and let go?
Yes, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
there's a difference. So
There is.
thank you for that insight. But you've got a lot of exciting itineraries and tours in the works right now.
I do.
So Iceland, I have noticed in recent years, has become extremely popular. And I'm not surprised, because it's a beautiful, stunning landscape, nature, excursions. There's no shortage of things to do.
No.
But you have a cruise coming up or land tour?
Yes.
I know you've mentioned Iceland. So what do you
Yes.
kind of have in the works there?
So we have group space with Windstar Cruises, and it's the Around Iceland. So it's the cruise goes right around Iceland and stops at all the little places that the big ships can't, which is very exciting.
Very exciting. Very niche.
And you get to see all of, I guess every
kind of corner, let's pretend it's a square.
Yes.
You're hitting all the corners.
Pretty much.
I think that's
All
interesting, though, that it's the smaller ports as opposed to the big ones. Because, like I said, Iceland's become such a big thing.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure everybody is kind of hitting those big markers.
Yes.
But is it with Amma, you said? Or
Windstar.
So Windstar's got a smaller vessel.
Yes, and which is very nice. The other thing that's really great is with the going around, Iceland is it's quite expensive.
Oh yeah.
And so you're getting on the ship
Mhm.
every evening. You're having your beautiful dinner,
Mhm.
your wine pairings or
Yeah.
whatever with it.
Mhm.
And you're still experiencing everything without having to pay out anything extra.
Yeah.
And that's what's beautiful about cruising as well.
Mhm.
It's kind of an all-inclusive in a sense.
In a sense, yeah. And I think, like you said, for destinations like Iceland, it's nice to have that peace of mind when you're traveling, because it's nice to just know that, okay, I do have a really nice dinner set for me tonight. Like I might be freezing right now, but I'm going to be warm later.
Gonna be warm. Yes.
And how long, do you know off the top of your head how long that Iceland cruise is?
It's 7 days.
Roughly around a week.
Yeah.
I think that's a good amount of time.
We have a bunch of stuff going on, so.
I know, I'm kind of throwing these questions at Milka, like, she's like, which tour are you going to ask me about next?
Yes.
But on to the next tour.
We do, we have a couple.
You've got a good few.
So actually, we have Celebrity Ascent in September.
The one that you were saying that you,
Yes.
oh, look what she did there, guys. Setting it up, I see. You've prepared.
Yes, a little.
Just a little.
It goes to Greece, Italy, and Croatia.
It's an interesting
and
mix.
it's 10 nights.
Okay.
So some days at sea, which is nice
Like
as
you
well.
said.
Yes, so I can.
Are you sure this isn't your next cruise vacation? So 10 days, Celebrity Cruise Line, in and around Europe, Greece, Italy, and Croatia. Croatia has also become a really big destination.
Yeah,
in recent
it has
years.
been, for a while now.
When I had first moved to Ireland, it was a few years back, it was one of those super cheap destinations. You could grab a Ryanair ticket for like €50 and get an Airbnb for like, 70 a night, and it was great. And now by the end of my Ireland time, really, guys, everybody's going there, but I don't blame you, because it's such a beautiful destination. So with Celebrity Cruise Lines, what's the atmosphere like on Celebrity as compared to Windstar? What would be the differences?
Well, Windstar is a lot smaller.
Right.
A lot more intimate.
Okay.
They don't have all the.
Naomi says, "Sign me up." Look, you've got you and Naomi are going to go on the on this beautiful Celebrity Cruise Line. So here, Naomi, these are the two different options in terms of boats. We've got Celebrity is larger, more activities, more shows, more just more entertainment.
Right. Yeah. Whereas Windstar is not. It's a little more intimate. Mm-hmm. Has more loungy,
more kind of elegance.
A little bit.
I wouldn't say elegance, but for lack of a better term, a little bit more sleek. Yeah, kind of in a way. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't been on Windstar, so I'm genuinely trying to. I'm like, what is it? What is it? Oh, Cheryl's given us a heart there. Thank you, Cheryl. But yeah, so those would be your differences in ships. Now, in terms of destination, because you said that, when you're planning the cruise, you're kind of looking at the destination first. Yeah. So I'm sure with Windstar, which is going to Iceland, versus Celebrity going to Italy, Greece, and Croatia, you're not just looking at the boats when you're talking to your clients. You're looking at the countries themselves and what you would recommend based on their personal needs.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. So those are two cruise. I know you had a third cruise going.
I do.
She's the cruise master general over here.
Oh yeah.
What's that? It's a holiday cruise, is it?
It is. It's you're right on
today. Look at me, guys. I've remembered.
It's Amma Waterways. Christmas markets on the Danube.
Oh,
so in Europe.
Interesting. And how long?
So you get to stop in all the little, right in the cities, the twinkle lights.
We love so I will say at the Women's Travel Club, we also love the holiday season. And we've indulged, I think this year and next year we have a Christmas Markets River Cruise as well. Not to take away from you, Milka. You've got lots of cruises, okay? Let us have one.
Okay.
But it is quite the allure in especially being on the water for the holiday season and docking right in those little
Oh,
ports.
Can
It's
you imagine?
I can't.
And the shopping that you can do
Oh,
before
yeah.
Christmas.
So is it like early December is this timeline?
So mine is going December 14th to the 21st.
Oh, so
yes,
right before
7,
Christmas.
yes.
Interesting. So they can get their last minute shopping done, which would be my kind of people. My kind. So might be joining this river cruise. Is it a river cruise? Sorry?
River.
It's river cruise. And with the river cruise, how many guests do you anticipate or expect to have on a river cruise ship or boat? I should say.
Yeah, they're a lot smaller.
A lot smaller.
Yeah, they are.
Like under
hundreds, like low hundreds.
I was gonna say like under 50. I don't know. I mean, we have a barge cruise right now that's like 10,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So barges
cruise
are
is
very different, but
yes,
there's lots of layers to this cruising, isn't there?
there very much is.
Well, I see why you've kind of chosen this niche because there's so, like I just said, there's so many layers to it. There's so much to know. There's so many different ships, experiences, destinations,
We
timing.
haven't even gotten into expedition cruising.
Oh.
Or,
I don't know how much time we really have to. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But if we're looking at all of these different types of cruises, this is going to be another loaded question. What is your preference when you're looking in for your own personal travels? Not for your clients, but what you enjoy as Milka.
On what type of cruise?
What type? Yeah, like do you enjoy the bigger ships? Do you prefer the river cruises? Do you like the barges?
Again, it would depend on the destination.
Okay, well, I'm not asking about the destination, Milka.
I know, but it's hard.
I know.
Because if I was doing Europe, it might be a river cruise, or it might be an ocean cruise. It just kind of depends.
And the timeline, I'm sure, is a big part of it. Because, being on a barge for 2 weeks might get a little stir crazy because the barge doesn't have as many, onboard activities as Windstar would.
And it depends who I'm going with. If it's family, then I'm going to want the bigger ship because I want everybody to have something to do.
That's yes. And if you're on a barge cruise with your family, you guys might get a little sick of each other. No, no, I think that in my opinion, just based off my personal experiences, I really enjoy the larger ships because not only are you getting to go to these beautiful, beautiful places, but you have your own oasis on water as well.
Oh, yeah.
So out of these 3 cruises we talked about, you've got your Windstar in Iceland, you've got Amma in Europe, and you've got someone else in Europe. Celebrity. I knew it. I was on the ball Europe, for a bit, guys, but in Mediterranean Europe. Which one are you and I know you love them all, but what are you most excited about out of those 3?
I'm going to say Celebrity. I'm really
even though Amma was
I'm really excited for Amma too because it's more of a themed cruise because it's Christmas markets, right? So that I'm excited for. But the celebrity
is it the itinerary that draws you out? Is it
definitely
the destination?
Itinerary.
Well, that's kind of what you said. It's like the number one go-to.
Yeah.
So tonight, because you don't only do cruising. I know we've talked a lot about, your experience and your niche and whatnot, but you also do organize and deal with land tours.
Yes.
Tonight you have a live event at the cafe talking about your Portugal tour.
Yes.
So can you give us a little bit of insight on that?
Yeah. So tonight we have Colette Tours coming in. And we are going to be talking about Sunny Portugal tour that they have.
Ooh.
It's very nice. Starts in Lisbon, ends in Lisbon. But it's a phenomenal. How
long is it?
I believe it's 8 days. And
2025?
April 2025, yeah.
That's a good time to go to Portugal, I find.
Yeah, because you don't want to go in the
Dead
summer.
of heat?
No, and crowds. So
Right.
April is a really nice time.
Mhm.
It's a little bit quieter
Mhm.
and temperatures are better, and you can
Right.
just walk and enjoy without
Mhm.
sweltering.
Fair. And the group space that you have for this tour now, is it like a large group, like upwards of 20 members?
20. Yeah.
Look at, I didn't even know that, guys. I just
Oh.
assumed. I'm on the ball, kind of.
Yes.
But so 20, that's, I think, a good group size, especially for a place like Portugal. Like, there's lots going on
Yes.
in the streets and amongst locals and whatnot. So there's lots to be seen and
Yes.
done.
And one thing I love, which I have to mention about Colette, is they will put you in a place for a couple of days. So it's not a tour where you're constantly packing and unpacking every day
Yeah.
and moving to the next place. They will kind of stop in one spot for a couple of days
Okay.
and then tour out from there.
And then come back.
And then you come back. And so
Okay.
you kind of can unpack a little and relax in that
Feel
space.
more relaxed.
Yeah.
I find when tours are, go, pick up, unpack, repack, go up, pick up, go do it again, like the next day. It's not enjoyable.
No.
It feels like more of a task than it does a vacation.
Yeah.
And I think that what you have said about Colette being very good without those kind of itineraries, especially in places like Europe, Portugal, are very important to just take a beat,
Yes.
take a breath.
And you also get to experience the nightlife in that area. And I will just go back to cruising for one more second.
Just for a sec.
But a lot of cruise lines, especially the smaller lines,
Mhm.
are staying overnight in
Oh.
ports so that you can get
That night experience.
Yeah, and you can go out after dinner and go have a drink or a coffee at a
Mhm.
cafe and just see the nightlife and
Mhm.
enjoy that and
But
take that away.
yeah, that's something you don't really see with cruises very often, because they try to maximize that time and
Oh, you're on the ship
You're
at
on
5:00 or
5.
6
What do
o'clock.
you mean 5, 6? I was on that 4. Like, they
Yeah.
wanted us right back at 4 o'clock, which means I had to be on the island by 10. Like,
Yes.
so it can be, if you're new to cruising, that aspect I find can be a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
Scary. Like, I remember being on the island and I couldn't even relax because I'm like, guys, we need to get back to the ship. I will not be left here.
It's true.
But it's nice to have those cruise lines that recognize that and give their, I don't want to say
They're trying
client,
to give
opportunity, passengers. Thank you. It's like, what do they call them? Those people? Passengers.
and a more immersive experience.
Yeah. And I think that's a big thing with the travel cafe experiences, is that with Milka and with the Women's Travel Club, I've said this before, guys, and you know it very well by this point if you're a Travel Talk watcher, but we really like to immerse our members in the cultural destination that they're going to, whether that be through food, whether that be through hands-on activities, or, Milka says nightlife, going out at night and experiencing it with the locals.
Yes.
And kind of hitting all those markers. So, and you said that Colette is going to Portugal, but they're not cruising. It's a land tour.
It's a land tour.
It's a land tour.
Yeah.
And
And then we also have, with Colette, Ireland.
Yeah, guess who also has an Ireland tour, Milka?
Who?
We do.
Oh.
Never would have guessed. But yeah, we both have Ireland
We
tours
do.
going out right now. Different. I mean, ours is this September. Your Ireland tour is October. So a little. If September might not work for you, maybe October will. But yeah, your Ireland tour. So is that a large group as well?
Yep.
20 people. So
Yeah.
if you like smaller groups. We have fun here, guys. I really hope you're getting an inside look to the camaraderie that
Yes.
comes with being a part of the Women's Travel Club and working with Milka. We have lots of fun.
We do.
But tell us a little bit about your Ireland tour, because I know it is. I'm gonna give you the opportunity.
Are you sure?
I guess so. Go on. So 20 people.
It is. It's another amazing tour. Again, Colette does an amazing job, and they do stop again for a couple days, sometimes 3, sometimes 2, depending. And this tour actually is very unique in that the last day, your farewell dinner is in a castle.
In a castle? There's no shortage of those over there.
No. And it actually becomes your overnight stay.
Oh, that's very unique.
So, yes.
That's interesting.
It's very cool.
Yeah, Ireland, I know our members are
Well,
probably
you-
sick of hearing me talk about Ireland because I, love it there so much. But any chance, we have a beautiful Irish tour going out this September. And I was making the itinerary documents for it today and I'm getting nostalgia. I'm actually getting upset because it's such a beautifully crafted itinerary. You're hitting all these amazing marks: Kylemore Abbey, Cliffs of Moher, Giant's Causeway,
Yeah.
Ring of Kerry. Like there's in Ireland it's a small country when you really think about it.
Yes.
To go from one coast to the next is the 3-hour drive,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So it's very I think beneficial to go to Ireland with a tour group,
Oh, yes.
whether it's a large group or a small group. You're going to get the most out of your experience when you're traveling to that country with a group, because if you're on your own, which I was for 2 years, I did not see
No.
Ireland more than what I did in the first 2 weeks when I went on those bus tours and I did those group activities. When I was living in Ireland on my own, the towns are very remote and they're all close together when you're in the
Yeah.
town, but outside of the town, it's hard to get from one place to the next. The bus systems are okay, but they're not going to get you to those iconic, beautiful
No.
destinations unless you're all
That's
going
true.
from Dublin and back to Dublin.
Yeah.
But if you want to kind of get that full rounded experience throughout the whole country, using Milka or the Women's Travel Club, I'm not saying that to be biased, it is your best bet. And that is coming from somebody who lived there. So,
Yes,
so
exactly.
take my advice as you will. But that's kind of my perspective on it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ireland.
Yes.
Interesting. So to kind of, wrap things up, we've been on for 45 minutes and I'm sure the good few people here are like, come on guys. I'd like to give this time as an opportunity for you guys to ask any questions for Milka. If you can't think of any right now, or you're interested in her tours, I have just put in the comments section 2 links to the Portugal and the Irish tour, as well as Milka's email. So you can reach out to her that way and ask her any questions. But if you don't, catch that email in time, you are more than welcome to reach out to the Women's Travel Club as well. Like I said in the beginning, Milka's desk is just across the way over there. We are working here as a big happy family,
Yes.
and I can always relay any questions to her.
For sure.
But Milka, is there anything else any itineraries or any comments, that you'd like to make that I might not have given you the chance to?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of hit all the marks. We
I
talked
think
about
so.
the different cruise ships. We've
Yes.
talked about the destinations,
Yes, which is so important.
which is apparently extremely important. I'm learning things here today too.
Yes.
But thank you for sitting down and talking with me today. I think it's also really great to give you the opportunity to get in front of our members here at the Women's Travel Club, let them know who you are. And again, if you guys have any queries about tours outside of the Women's Travel Club, then Milka's definitely your point of contact. Like I said, she does cruising, land tours, the whole lot. So
yes, exactly. Thank
everything-
you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So I don't see any comments here. We do have a good few likes and hearts. Oh, look at Marianne's giving us a little heart here. Thanks,
Aw.
Marianne. And a like from Michelle. Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you, Naomi, for being active in the conversation today.
Yes.
But with that, I think we will wrap up today's travel talk. Thank you again, Milka, for joining. And keep an eye out on the Women's Travel Club socials, as well as the Travel Cafe Experience socials, because Milka does her travel nights here in Font Hill, Highway 20.
Yep.
So I know it's a bit late now because we're starting our next travel night in T-minus 30 minutes roughly.
Yes.
So maybe not tonight, but in the future, stay up to date with the events. We're doing live events. As always, we have our weekly travel talks, so you'll be able to keep up with those online as well. And if you guys want to be added to Milka's email list, definitely let us know, because she's got some great promotions coming out in the coming weeks. So yeah.
Perfect.
Anyways, well, I don't see any more comments. I see we have a good amount of love there. So I think we'll wrap it up for today. But again, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Milka, for
Thank
coming.
you.
And we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.